just make a really quick video about how I plan my KONOS unit studies. I've seen a lot of questions online about that, and I just wanted to share what I'm doing, and maybe it'll help somebody, and maybe it won't. But yeah, this is what I'm doing. I am homeschooling a kindergartner, but you could take the way I plan and apply it to any age. I also have a preschooler who's 3, so I try to include him in a lot of the activities. So they're geared for, preschool and kindergarten age kids. So yeah, I guess I'll get into it. This is only my first year using KONOS, and I really, really like it a lot. It suits me and suits my child and my children very well, and so I'm very happy with the curriculum, and I hope to use it for many, many years. Especially the way I plan it, it just makes it so easy and so exciting to use. I love to just do the planning, but it's really nice to come to the week and have a whole, have a plan. I tend to be very disorganized, and I'm one of the type of people that can't see the forest for the trees, so I have to break things down into very small pieces. Looking at the KONOS volume just to flip through it was so overwhelming for me, but luckily my friend came to visit me, and she really helps me a lot put together a plan that I'm going to share with you. So the first thing that I did was I took the KONOS book to, I went to Staples, but you could go to Office Max, Kinko's, wherever, they do this kind of thing. And I had the binding cut off of it, and so I put it in it was a 2-inch binder, but I probably could have gone with a 1.5 inch, because this is really big. Probably go with a 1.5 inch binder, but this is a 2-inch binder, and I had them cut the binding off of the book. So here's the front of, and I'm using volume 2. I put that into the pocket on the front of the binder, and then I just put the back piece on the back. I did not put the spine piece in here because for some reason they didn't give it back to me. But I just 3-hole punched all, however many pages it is, and put it into the binder. Now what I do is I am currently working on, we just began a study on inquisitiveness, and we're doing explorers and navigation. So what I did was I went in here and I found that whole unit, found where the unit was in the book, and I took it out. And what I did was I photocopied it. My printer makes photocopies, so I photocopied all the pages, and then I put the original copies back into their place into the binder. So I have all of the originals in here. So now I have copies that I can write on and make notes and highlight, etc. So I 3-hole punched all of the copies, and then I put them in one of these little buddies that I got at Target for 15 cents. So I bought 10 of them. But, it's just one of these type of folders that have the 3 ring things in the middle, and so I put all the pages in there. So I will just kind of walk through what I do. So the first thing, you come to your, so this is where the unit begins: explorers, navigation, and sailing. So they have just a quick overview of the unit, and so I highlighted, just some things that I wanted to focus on. And then they have the Bible verses here, so I highlighted the one that I wanted us to work on. And we're also memorizing Psalm 19 for the whole unit. It's got 14 verses in Psalm 19, and so we're just doing 2 verses a week. And Psalm 19 talks about, the heavens declaring the glory of God, and the stars and the sun. So I wanted my children to memorize it, so I thought this would be a nice time. So I added that in with my plans. So I highlighted the memory verse that I wanted to do. And I also, now this was all done, a few weeks ago. Maybe I started doing this maybe 3 weeks ago, I want to say. So we hadn't even started the unit when I began planning. And then we have a list of the explorers, and so I began to highlight the ones that I wanted us to focus on, but I hadn't looked through, so I need to go back and highlight here which explorers we are actually studying. The next section is vocabulary words, and they have them broken down by category. So the first one is about stars. So I just highlighted, and I love that I can just write on these pages because they're the copies. I highlighted all of the words that I wanted us to work on or go over, or just make my daughter familiar with these vocabulary words. So I have them all highlighted here on both pages. And as well here, and they give a definition of each word that we can learn. And then there's more vocabulary words. And this is for 7 weeks, so it might seem like, oh, that's a lot of words, but we're only doing a few words each week over the 7 weeks. The next section of the lesson plan is the suggested books. So they have them also broken down into categories: some stars, navigation and maps, explorers. And I haven't highlighted any of these books because I went through them and cross-referenced with my library, and some I could find and some I didn't find, so I just found my own books. But if you want to go through this list and find the books that you want to use for your over this 7 weeks or however many weeks your unit is, then go ahead and highlight those as well if you find a book on here that you want to use. So that's the end of that. So the next thing that I did was I made these, I don't know if you can see it, these kind of lesson planning sheets. And so, and I just made this on my computer in Microsoft Word. So I put, what trait we were working on at the top and what unit. So we were doing inquisitiveness, and then explorers and navigation, week 1. Week 1. And then I made a section here where I could write what my focus is going to be for the week. This is just for 1 week of the unit. Then I have a book list, and then any videos that I want to watch I list here. My vocabulary words are listed here, and then my memory verses. What we're doing, I'm also part of a Konos co-op that we meet once a week, and so we meet on Fridays, and what we're doing for our co-op I put there. Any supplies that I need for my activities I put here, like a shopping list or things I need to gather from around the house, and then a to-do list, and then I have a place for notes. So this is at the beginning of each week. So this is for week 1, and right behind week 1 are the lesson plan sheets for that week. So I go through and separate each week into the 7 weeks based on the activities that are listed. So the activities that are listed are broken down. I mean, they're all listed from 1 through whatever number is the last one, but you can kind of look through and see, okay, this applies to week 1, or this activities apply to week 2. So I broke those down. So before each week I have another weekly planning sheet. So these are the only pages that I have for week 1, which this is what I need. I have to have it very broken down in order to not feel like the world is caving in on me. So these are the activities. And so I went through and just highlighted the ones that I wanted to do for the week. And next to that, I put what day of the week I was going to do these activities. So I have it highlighted, and then I'm going to do these 2 activities on Monday. I also wrote my vocabulary words here. But this is before I wrote these before I made my planning sheet. And then I have these activities that we're going to do for Tuesday, Wednesday's activities, and Thursday's activities. And then Friday we have our co-op. So I only plan Monday through Thursday. And that's it. And then the next week is for week 2. here. And the same thing, I write my focus, my book list, any supplies that I need, my to-do list, videos, vocabulary words, memory verses, and then right behind that sheet I have the pages. Sorry, I have the pages for week 2, which we're studying constellations. And so I have those activities highlighted and what day of the week I'm going to do them. So it continues on, week 3, week 4, and then the activity pages for week 3, and then I have one for week 4. And I haven't finished filling all of these out. I pretty much have all of my books for every week written out on the planning sheets, but I need to go through the activities and write down, make a list of the supplies that I need and any to-do items that I need and my vocabulary words and what my focus is going to be. But I do know what my memory verses, because we're going to be working on this through the whole unit. It's all 19. So by the time we get to week 4, we'll be learning verses 7 and 8. And then I have also left a place here for notes. So for week 4, we're going to be studying Marco Polo, who went to China, and we're also going to be studying China and camels. So I just made a note saying, oh, it'd be really cool to learn how to play Chinese checkers. So any ideas that I come up with, I can just write these down here. So when I get ready to go to plan this lesson, I can, remember that, oh yeah, I wanted to learn to play Chinese checkers. Do I need to buy the Chinese checkers game, or do I want to find an app, or, do we want to read a book, or whatever it is that I want to do with Chinese checkers. I left a place for notes or ideas. And then, it continues on for week 4's activities, and they're also highlighted and with the day of the week that I'm going to do that activity. So that's pretty much my, and then this binder, this is only inquisitiveness. There's nothing else in here. So there's not, the plans for the whole year in one binder, because that would just be way too overwhelming for me. Not that it's not that the planning is overwhelming, but I just need it really broken down into small pieces. So I have one of these for each unit that we're doing. I went ahead and photocopied the next 2 units and put them in their own little jobbies like this. And so when I get ready to plan, I can just pick up that unit and not have to look at anything else, because that's really what I need to help me plan. So the next step in my planning, and I just need to grab, okay, I'm back. I'm going to get my other folder. So the next step that I do is I have a daily folder that I use, and I have this nice pretty picture on the front. But this is just a 3-ring binder. And what I do, the first thing that I have is my calendar. And this is, if you can see it, this is my calendar for the year for Konos. All of the units that we're going to do, and then what days that we're going to do them. And all of the Konos days are highlighted in blue, and then the little pink squares are the days that, because I'm in a co-op, so I'm responsible to plan the activities for, I think, 5 days out of the whole year, which really isn't a lot. But I have to, because we have like a form that we post what we're going to do, I just mark those days. These are the days that I need to make my post about what I'm going to plan to do for my co-op. And then next I have an attention log for my daughter, which is really helpful because I like to check things off. And so I just printed this out. It's 180 days, and I laminated it. Laminated, so I used to use a permanent marker to mark those off. And next, I'll show you what I do for Konos. So this was an old sheet. I'll show you this one that I used for Konos. So I take, my plans here that we just went over, and then I transfer them onto a sheet like this. This is 4 weeks of plans, and what I do, it's just, boxes, and I just made this on my computer in Word as well. And in each box I have, what book I'm going to read that day, or books. What if I'm going to watch a video, what video I'm going to watch, and then what the activity is for the day. And this is just for Konos. This does not include math or reading or phonics or whatever else you want to want to do. This is just for my Kono studies. So I just go through the plans that I made in here, and then I just transfer that information from that week onto here. So this is a week that we did, a unit that we did for Courage back in August. And so I every day that we did something, I just highlighted it. I like to highlight things because it kind of gives me a feeling of accomplishment. I highlight them in green. So all of the green is what we did each day. And then the orange things are things that we did not do, but I did the next day, or we did later on during the week. We just didn't get to it, which kind of helps me to see if I'm over planning. If, I have a lot of orange, then I know that I'm planning too much because I'm not getting to it every day. But I don't have a lot of orange, just maybe a couple of things that we just didn't get to because we either got busy or I didn't maybe have something that I needed or for some whatever reason. So, yeah, those things are highlighted in orange. So this is the one that I did for this week. As we can see, there's not a lot of green because we just started this week, and I need to go back and because we did some of this stuff last week. This was last week, and this is the week that we're on. No, we're just finishing up this week, so we're on Friday of this week, and I need to go back and highlight what we did because we did some of the stuff I just didn't get to go back and highlight. So this is the first 4 weeks of our study. And what I do is I filled out all the books. I need to go back, and because I just picked up my books for this coming week from the library, so I need to sit down and just write down what books I'm going to read each day. But I have my activities all written out, most of them, for each week. And then Friday is our co-op. So I'll write down here what we're going to do for a co-op. And if there are any notes or if there's something that I need to do to prepare for co-op or if I need to bring something with me, then I'll take that as well. I'll write that down here as well. This is one of the other sheets that I made, but I kind of did away with this sheet because this is what I was originally doing, but it was just too much on one sheet of paper. But it was kind of like my planning sheets from here, but it was 4 weeks of planning at a time. So I had all of my books, but I didn't have enough room, so I'd have to use like little sticky notes to like extend the book list, and then what supplies I needed, but I might not need all of these supplies for week 1. So I was writing down all my supplies, but I need to know which supplies I need first and make sure I have those first. So I started highlighting in different colors to indicate which week the things were for, but it was just still too, like, when I would look at the list, it would just all run together. And then I had a to-do list here, and I tried to highlight for what was due on what week, but it was just, like I said, couldn't see the forest for the trees. It was just too much together. So that's why I made the weekly sheets that I have in here. So I don't really need to use this anymore. But I had done it, so I just put it in the book. But yeah, so this is what I do for each week. So during every morning, this is what I refer to. I don't really refer to this that much. This is just pretty much for planning. And this is what I refer to every day. So I think that's it. I can't think of anything else that I do. That has really simplified the process. It's really taken a lot of the, the overwhelmingness, I know that's not a word, of it away, and I can really focus on what I'm doing each day to make those things more meaningful, because I really have a hard time doing a big broad plan. I have to do little things at a time, and that's just the way I plan. That's me, and I know that there's people that don't do it that way, and they can plan a whole year on one sheet of paper. I could never do that. I need things very clear and cut. So hope that helps somebody, and that's just how I do my Konos planning. And please, if you guys have any tips that you like to share, I would love to hear them. Or if you have any questions, if I wasn't clear or in explaining something, please just feel free to ask. All right, thanks.